how do we use operators, right? We learned about the operators and we discussed about special operators. So what are the various types of special operators and how to work with them? One simple example we learned. So we discussed about all the special operators, and these are the special operators we discussed. The last one we saw, new. New is a special operator. And another important operator in the operators we have one more special operator is there, that is a void operator. Actually, void is also an operator generally. So void operator, it is used to define that element will not return any functionality. Define that element will not return any functionality. To define that element will not return any functionality, so we have to use the void operator. So actually void, in general programming we say no return type. So no return type and no return value. So it is used to define that element will not return any functionality. Generally here where we use void, one simple example I show you. Suppose I am creating a link home. If I created the link home, then if I write like this, currently that link is not valid link. This is not a valid link because you haven't mentioned any href. So actually why I haven't mentioned href, because that functionality will be managed by someone else. The functionality will be managed by someone else. If that functionality is managed by someone else, then later they will implement. But my testing team, when they test here, they will say that this is invalid link because you haven't mentioned href. Suppose if I return href, that is also invalid because href cannot be empty. You cannot use hash. That is nothing but you are referring to id, but id is empty. That is also not correct. So you are referring to an id and id is not there. So technically what we can do now is, when we are designing, so this is also not correct. It looks like a link, but when I click on home, it will pass an hash in the URL. That means you are trying to pass an ID without any ID value. Then it is showing like visited. That's not correct. So that is not correct. So you cannot define link like that. So in that case, what we do is, how we can define that, how to configure and define that. The link is not going to return anything. Then what we do is, here we use a simple not returning anything. Simply there we define. So like this, we use JavaScript. And colon, that means it indicates that it is going to have a function, and function is void. Usually we have a simple value also, that is 0. 0 indicates that return is false, like that. But it's not mandatory, but it is a tradition. So this indicates that the current link is an empty link. There is no functionality for this. Later, it may return a functionality, but that will be implemented by some other people. Suppose if I write like this, you can see a link look like this. I click on the link, it is not showing as visited, and it is not passing any refreshing or any values. That means the link is ready, but not returning anything. Not returning anything. So that is how generally technically we write. If you write like this, then only it will pass the testing. That means this is valid. But later the function is implemented. Function is implemented means you can pass a functionality inside this void. So and implement a functionality. So later we will see. For that we need to learn about the functions, right? Then later we can see that. Initially, so this is a simple void operator. If I want later, I can define functionality, like I can write like this here. So background hyphen background color is equal to yellow. Some like this I have defined. Background color is equal to yellow, something I defined like that. It will not work here. Later we will see. What we can do is we can define a functionality here. Which background color you want to set yellow? Suppose body. So body background color we want to set yellow. We can configure body background color yellow. That means here when I define that, the body background color can be defined to yellow. But we can also define a functionality here. So we can also define a functionality here. Actually, the functionality we will write. So instead of void, now later if I want, I will put a functionality here. Functionality like I can pass some effects. I will show you. We can simply write like alert, and in the alert we are defining so hello, something like this. And you can refresh here. I click on home, it shows an alert hello. That means some functionality is implemented here. Some functionality is implemented. Some functionality is configured here. So technically, you can put a lot of effects there. So, or you can add. So we can add a simple predefined option also. That's what generally we can do in the operators. So that's special operator. Right. So actually, so void operator, the intention of void operator is to indicate that it is not returning anything. It indicates that it is not returning anything. So generally we use this mostly for functions. So functions, let's see, you can put some values also, but you have to write the complete hierarchy. Suppose see, you can directly keep that void. So void means it is not returning anything. Okay. Now here we can define a style, effects, anything. You can directly write here. How we can write here? We can write like document hierarchy, document.body, style dot background color is equal to some yellow. Like this we define. That means usually what happens when I click on this, it will set the background color yellow. So we can replace that void with some functionality, or into the void we can pass a functionality. And later this void can return a functionality. We can write all the functionalities. We can even use for navigation also. For that, we need to learn about some document related objects. We need to understand about them. Initially, this is the basic approach of how do we work with the void operator. So later we have to use this in functions while working with functions. So syntax will be like this. That means, so JavaScript is used in href. So this JavaScript will define type as void. That means it indicates that this href is not going to return any functionality. Later, if you want, you can implement the functionality. So you can directly replace this, or you can define any functionality inside the void, so that on click of the link, it will perform that functionality. That is the general how we can use this operator. So these are all the special operators that we discussed in last session. Today we learned about this void operator. So we have arithmetic operators, we have relational operators, logical operators, conditional operators, and important is we have to handle other special type of operators also. Depending on the requirement, we will use them in various examples. Next, after understanding operators, we need to know about statements in JavaScript. What are all the types of statements in JavaScript and how to use them? Actually, statements, so usually statements are used. Statement is used to control the execution flow. In computer programming, statement is used to control the execution flow. And the statements are classified into various groups. What are those groups? We have type and keywords. What are the different types of statements we are having? We have selection statements. We have the keywords if, else, switch, case, default. All these comes under selection statements. We have iteration statements like for iteration and looping statements. Iteration and looping statements we have like for, we have while, we have do while. This comes under iteration. We have jump statements. We have break, we have continue, we have return. These are jump statements. We have exception handling statements. So we have try, we have catch, we have throw, we have finally. All these exception handling statements. So in computer programming, we have to use these statements according to the situation. We have different types of statements. We can see how to handle these statements. We have selection, iteration and looping, jump statements, and exception handling statements. First, we will see examples with the different types of statements. How do we deal with the examples? So first we are going to understand about the selection statements. Actually, selection statements are used in decision making. They are used in decision making. So they are used to control the decision. That means they control the execution flow. the execution flow based on given condition, based on given condition. So the various keywords used for selection statements are these: if, else, switch, case. Simply if statement, so the if statement, generally if statement, so it is a decision making statement, it executes a set of statements when condition evaluates to true, and another set of statements so when it evaluates to false. That is what actually if statement is. It is a decision making statement that executes a set of statements when condition evaluates to true, and another set of statements when condition evaluates to false. Actually, there are many forms of writing if statement. There are several forms of writing if statement. So first form is we call as forward jump. In computer programming, forward jump is a decision making. So in this, so it continues to execute the statements only when condition evaluates to true. So that means only when the condition evaluates to true, then it continues to execute the statements. So there is no else block. There will be no else block. Generally, we call this as forward jump. Forward jump means it continues to execute only when condition is true. Otherwise, it will stop. There will be no alternative. That is written like this. We write like this: if condition, and here we have defined parenthesis statements if true, and parenthesis close. There is no else block. We call this mechanism as forward jump. That means we don't want to touch some statements until the condition is true. So if the condition is true, then it will execute. Otherwise, it will not execute this. It will jump those statements and continue others. There is no else block. There is no alternative. Those statements are executed only when condition is true. This type of mechanism is called as forward jump. This type of mechanism is called forward jump. So forward jump is nothing but it will allow to execute only when condition is true. Statements are executed only when the condition is true, right? That is the basic of forward jump actually. How this works, we will see. One simple example, we will see how it is going to work. So we will put an example and we will see how to use this. On that example, we will learn about that. Right? Let's see. So how we can manage that. For that, we will create one simple design. We will create sample design and we will see how to handle it. So one sample example we will see. If you remembered, so we discussed about the options like in Bootstrap, collapse. We learned about drop downs, collapse, forms, input groups, and all these. So generally, if you are aware of them, we can see how to handle them. So if you remembered collapse, in the collapse, we discussed about accordion. If you remember that example, accordion, how to use accordion, I told you, right? We can design an accordion style, right? Let's create one example for this simple if condition without else how we can manage. Okay, let's see. For that, I'm creating a design. So let's create a new design. So I'm adding here a separate folder. This is JavaScript folder. Okay. A new folder I will keep outside. Outside that, I will keep a new folder. So JavaScript examples. Okay. Fine. Let's add a new file into this new file. Some if demo.html. Fine. Here we will import in the head section. We will import all the library that we need here. So generally we need a link relation is equal to style sheet. href is equal to node modules bootstrap. So bootstrap css bootstrap.css. Fine. And we will put a script source is equal to node modules jQuery dist jQuery.js. We will use another script. So source is equal to, so this is node modules bootstrap dist js bootstrap bundle.js. Okay. And we have a script. So body section. And here we will design some options. We will design like, suppose we will design a simple div. Yeah. And here I will keep here, suppose a header. So that is class as text center and text some digit. And suppose I said some KFC online, like. So some design, we have just like KFC online, something like I defined there. And roughly that will be in the center. Okay. And below this, I'm adding a div, or we can keep a header there. Instead of that, I can keep a header. Okay, let's keep a header better than this, right? We can keep an header. So that means a header image. We can keep a header image. For that, I will copy some images. I will open in Explorer. Let's go to images. Let's design something. So here I'm adding images. I have images and I'm adding some images here. Some images are there, some KFC top, so crusher, and some fries, large fries, right? OMG1, OMG2. Okay. So some like fries, large fries. Okay. Some photos I copied and I will keep this in images folder. Our project images folder, I have defined it. Okay. So at the top, I'm adding, and so first we will keep as div class as container fluid. Fine. And here we will keep an image. Image width is 100%. Is 100%. So, and here we have source is images. So in images we have KFC top. a PNG file is present. I'm adding that image at the top. So it will be like this. So that is the image I defined here. That's the image I have defined there, right? That is the image we defined here. Okay, that is the basic. At the top, we have that image. Now below this, so we have a div. So we have a div. In this div, I'm defining a class. As you remembered, I said accordion. Accordion. We designed an accordion, if you remembered. So ID is equal to KFC menu, something like this. KFC menu. That is the accordion name. KFC menu is the accordion name. Okay, so we defined that accordion. KFC menu is the accordion name. In this, we are defining a div. So in this, we are defining a div. Div class, the div class have a card style. In the card style, we have another div. So this div will have a class card header. And ID is like customer info. Customer info is the ID for that header. Okay, and here we will keep a heading, and here we will put a button. And button, we will define class as btn and btn danger, and we will keep btn block. That is the button. So that means button is defined here, and we will write here. So for this button, we will write here as customer info. That is the button. And usually it looks like this now. We see customer info. That is the button. So here I'm adding btn lg. So that is so large, a little size will be increased for that button. That is a card style, and we have that customer info. Now by default, so under this div, inside the card, under the header, this is header. Under the header, I will define a div, and ID is collapse customer. That is a collapse. We will apply the class called collapse, and we will keep show. By default, it will be displayed. The collapse class is applied for that, and you know that it is working for data parent. Who is the data parent? Data parent is accordion. Our accordion is the data parent. Data parent accordion name is KFC menu. That means it should work for hash KFC menu. So that means it should work for the accordion KFC menu. This collapse will work for that KFC menu. Okay. Now inside this, we need to design a div. So the class, this is card body. We are defining card body, and inside the card body, we can keep anything we want. So for example, here I am designing a div class as row, and a div. So this is class as call. Okay, call, this is 6. And another div, we have a class called call. This is also 6. So this is column 6, and 6 means 12 columns we are defining here. And in this left column, we are designing. Inside the row, we can add one more data also actually. Means inside that we can add one more card, a card inside another card. We can create a presentation like that. So in this, what we are doing is we will keep a simple div class as card. So this is the card. Okay, and the div. So class as card header or card header. Okay, and here I am defining instead of card header, we will just keep an image at the top. img src is equal to, so that is images omg1.png. So here this is customer related information actually. Customer related information means we will not use all these rows and all, because that we will do for other details, right? In customer related information, we will just design a form. Okay, so that means we will create a simple form and keep the data here. Means you can keep that, we can keep that rows and columns, but here just we can add some details. So better we will maintain in a tabular form, keeping the contents side by side, because here I want as name. So, and here I want like a text box, input type is equal to text, and the class is equal to form control. So that is the text box. Usually it will display the content like this, name and form control like this. Left side we have name, and right side we need to enter the name. So the text box for entering the name, customer info, we are defining like this. So that is the row we are defining. Suppose I'm adding another row, div class is row, and same. And suppose I'm defining another here. This is for mobile, right? And yeah, mobile, and another input type text. Okay, that is general design. That means we are adding one more row, mobile, right? So we can define this here. So mr, so auto or mr2 3. So margin, so margin top, margin bottom, we can define them, right? Margins. You can keep a general space also between the rows, because I want to add for all the rows a general space between the rows we can define. How we can add is in the style. So here we can keep some style, and style. So margin top for all the rows, so 10 pixel. That means for every row 10 pixel will be there. That means you can see name left side and mobile. These names, if you want, you can define that here. So we can define in a label. So heading to style, or so in a label, I'm just adding a label. Mobile, we are defining a label. So it will be like this. This is the labels. So labels, we can keep the size for the label. So label, wherever it is there. So font size is some 16 pixels. So font size is increased for the labels. So some 32 pixels. So the font size will be little bit incremented. So some 25 pixel. Okay. A little bit font size is adjusted for them. So name and name, mobile and mobile. Those details are entered here. So that is how we have to configure. Okay, now this is when I click on this, the customer info should hide. That means on the button click, you know what to do here. We have to use toggle. Data toggle. It has to toggle this particular collapse customer. That means we have to use here hash collapse customer. Data toggle should work collapse customer. That means it should collapse that customer and display. And very important is if it has to work like an accordion. So that means data target should be collapse. Data target, and data target is collapse customer. And we have data toggle. Actually, data toggle will be collapse only. That will work for that, right? That means data target is collapse customer, and we have to use data toggle. Data toggle is equal to collapse. Data toggle is equal to collapse. That means it will work for the collapse. You can show and hide. Customer details can be displayed and hidden. That is customer info. We have to define that customer info. Okay. That means I click on the button, then it will hide the detail. I click on it, again it will show the detail. User can enter the details. Okay. So that is a general approach of designing a accordion card. Now similarly, I need another card. I will copy all this card related data design. I will copy all the card related design. This is actually the card related design. This is the card related design. I will copy all the card related design. So up to here, that is the card. I will copy that card design up to here, the card design. And rest of is in accordion, right? So here I will design another card. So I will design another card here. So this is card to second one. So or we can simply define. So here we will put some logic just for understanding sake, right? And in this I will keep another. So this ID will be changed to meal info. And here we will define a heading. So choose a meal. Choose a meal. Okay. And here we have to define target as collapse meal. And we should design the collapse. So we should design this collapse as collapse meal ID. Collapse meal ID. And it should use only collapse, no show. I will not display by default. And the data parent is KFC only, accordion. But in the rows, we need to design, in these columns, we need to design something different. That means in the row and column, we need to design something different. So this is the first column, second column. One row is enough. So I will kill this second one. Right. So one row is enough. In this row, first column empty, second column also empty. In this left column, I am designing again. So here you can see there is another accordion actually, another accordion, choose a meal. So customer info and choose a meal. In choose a meal, we have to define the details. Details, what I will do is here, I will put a div and class as card. Okay. And in that img src, it is images omg1.png. And here I will put class as img top, card image top. We are defining that image. Below that, we will keep a div and a class as card body. So that means we are defining the header and card body. So in the card body, I will keep a heading. So suppose OMG some burger, like this, burger. And here I will define, so div a class as a card footer. In the card footer, I'm adding some option, like I will keep a input type is equal to radio. So user can choose that radio. So that means the option we are defining there. So we can directly put the titles and description and others. And here radio. In the radio, I'm defining, suppose, some title or some description like this. Suppose here I'm defining some cost, some 120 ampersand hash 8377 semicolon. And I'm defining here as suppose 150 like this. That is the radio. And you know that radio will have a name. I will give as meal. Logic we will write later. First we are designing it. First we are designing this. And you can see there will be a design here. I click on choose meal. The meal will come like this. So the width, height, we can adjust according to the requirement. Width and height we can adjust according to the requirement. But this is choose meal, so that means it will open that. User can choose a meal, OMG burger. And you can see it's a size here. So this is defined. I will keep this in a heading. So it will be large in display. I click on choose meal, it will open like this, OMG burger. User can choose this. And very important is I need to keep multiple. That means this is in one column. In one column we have one card. I will copy this card. Okay. In the second column I will keep another card. This will be some OMG roller like this, and OMG2. And you can see its cost is changed to suppose 120. And you can see now we have choose a meal. So two options are there. User can choose any one. You can see radios will select to only one. Any one user can choose. Only one user can choose. That's what we are defining here. Only one user can choose. So we are configuring this. So because see the alignment size, all you can adjust according to your requirements. Suppose I defined as IMG. Already it is actually correctly fit. So width is equal to suppose 100 pixel. Height is equal to 100 pixel. Wherever you put the image, it will be changed like this. So it will affect everywhere. So for cards we can define. That means in the card we have image. The card image must be displayed in that way. Only for the card images it will show. Right? So the width, suppose I defined as 300 and 200. So height, then it will adjust according to that. It will apply only in the card. Right? Contents, better if I don't define this, better what it will do is it will fit according to it. Card, because actually card also should have the same width. Card, but we are using lot of cards there. So if I use card width as 300 pixels, then it is going to affect all of them, because above also we are using a card. Then we need to say that okay, not everywhere. So inside the accordion, the card effect should be different. Inside the column, the card should be different, right? That means the cards that you are defining inside the column should affect. That means we can use here, so call -6. So in that, the card appearance should affect. That means it will affect only for the card inside it. It depends on your requirement, how you can configure. It depends on your requirement. So now important is this all not required. So I just given you how we can adjust the styles and effects. I will keep it as it is, normal. I click and I get the details. It will be like this. Okay. Now important is user can choose a meal. First, he will enter customer info. He will enter the name, some name and some mobile. After that, choose a meal. Then meal details will come. User can choose any one meal. Okay. After choosing the meal, then I have to design one more. So this is one accordion. So in the accordion, this is one card. This is customer info. This is the customer info card. After this, this is a meal info card. I will design another one. I will design another one. I will copy this. I will copy this. I will add one more. That means here I will design another card. So this is card 3, card 3. Now in this, what we do is in this card, actually, so this is card 3. This is, I will give as add-on info. Add-on info. That means here I will write choose add-on. Add-ons, add-on, right? Choose add-on. And collapse add-on, that is the ID. Collapse add-on. Data toggle, data target will be collapse add-on. Add-on, okay. Now here I am making a design. So rest of the logic is same. Here I am making a design. So this card will be like large. So suppose say fries1.png. Here I will give the heading. So large fries. Okay. And here input is not radio. Input is this time checkbox. We are not giving a meal. Checkbox are independent, right? And here the cost for this is suppose large fries 60. Like this, large fries, that is 60. This is so one another accordion defined. And this is one column. In the row, one column. In the second column, I defined as some crusher.png. And here I will define as crusher brownie, like this. And card footer input type is checkbox. And the cost here is suppose 40, like this. And you can see in the design now, in the design, we have customer info collapse. I click on add-on details will come. And user can choose the add-ons. User can choose the add-ons. He can choose one or many. Now, what is the key concept in this design is here. After defining all this, that means all the cards and accordion, then finally I need to keep a div. So class as form group. And here we need to keep a button. So get bill summary, or simply say place order. Place order is a button. I will put a class as btn and btn danger. So outline danger, I will use outline danger. And here text center. Okay. Now you can see here there is an order button outside. Place order button is there. The point is very simple. User will enter name and mobile number. Some mobile number is entered. Okay. And he will click on choose meal. he can select a meal, roller or burger. Only one meal he can choose. And add on, he can choose a crusher. So, or he can choose large fries, or he can choose both. After selecting all these, when he clicks, remember, other selections are present as it is. Other details are present as it is. He can go to any details and make the modifications. And after selecting all the details, he click on place order. Then I want to show the bill summary. I want to display the bill summary. That means it has to get the summary of the amount for the items they have selected. That means burger 150 plus add-ons, they selected both. That means 210 plus 40, that is 250. It should display all the bill summary, including his details. That means that username, his mobile number, what meal he selected, what add-ons he selected, and how much money he have to pay. All the details I should get like a bill summary here and display a bill summary. And I want to show that bill summary. Generally, we can display the bill summary. We will keep that to display the bill summary. What we will do is we will keep a div and we will put a model. We will use a model for bill summary. In the model, we will pop up and we will display the details. Model, we will pop up and display the details. That means here we are utilizing all the concept of our general bootstrap, right? I need to display the pop-up and design. And you know how to design a model. So the model will use a div and it will have a class. So model dialog, right? In the model dialog, we will use a div and it will have a class that is model content. So model content. In the model content, we will have a div. So this will have a class. So model header. And here we will have, say, bill summary, bill summary, bill summary. And this is actually a class that is a model title. It will get the bill summary. And in the body, we have a div class that is model body. So model body. In the body, I need to keep all the details. And you know how to put a footer. What details to print, I will tell you. So I will keep here model footer. In the model footer, I need to keep the buttons. And you know that one button will be like close, another button will be like something else if you want. So that means these are the options. Class as design later we will do btn danger like this. Now the key point here is this model should pop up. This model should display. This model should display on the button click. And that means this model should have an ID. This model should have an ID. Summary model. Okay. And here we will put a class called fade. Fade, some effect, fade effect we are defining summary model. And on the button click, I need to manage that. On the button click, I need to open up. So then you know that. So here it has to use data toggle. Data toggle. Data toggle is model. And the data target. Data target. Data target is hash summary model. Later in that, we will show the bill summary. As of now here, I enter the details. I choose a meal and I choose add-ons. And after that, I click on place order, a pop-up will come. In the pop-up, I need to display the bill summary. I need to display the bill summary for the items they have selected. Now here, logic is important. So design, no need to explain anything because we came from here only. So our design is ready. But logic, we need to do it in JavaScript now. Logic means what you have to do? You have to collect the details from text boxes. You have to check which meal they selected. Based on that, price must be calculated. You have to check which add-on they selected. Based on that, price must be calculated. And finally, this price should be added to the meal price, and the bill amount must be displayed. So this is the complete scenario how to handle it, right? So now the logic for this we need to implement. Model button close we can write. So what should happen on model close button? So that means in the model we have a button, and here we need to keep here the button as data dismiss. We need to just put as data dismiss. Data dismiss is equal to model. It has to dismiss model. That's the basic thing. So that means I click on this and I click close, then it will close the model. So the bill summary should display the details of all the data. That means here actually in the model body, I need to keep a data list with the data term. So customer name and data definition. I need to display another. So here I define, like, you can put a table also. I define like mobile, okay, and data definition. And I need to display another like meal, what meal they selected, and data definition. And another term like add-ons, what add-ons they selected, and data definition. And I need to display so total amount, how much they have to pay, the data definition. All this should be displayed inside the model. I click place order, it should show all the details in the model. Customer name, mobile, meal, add-on, total amount must be displayed there. That's what we need to achieve in our JavaScript. So that part we will do tomorrow, right? Today we just prepared the design. Then tomorrow we will implement the logic. And if I show this, I will give you a task based on this logic also. That task you have to do by yourself. You have to design it by yourself. First, I will show you how to implement logic for this and make it function. Then I will give you a task. You have to try that, right? That we will see tomorrow. So I am not giving this example. So tomorrow after finishing the logic, I will give you this example. Okay. So tomorrow we can continue with that.